Hello, Carver here, and I'm going to be talking about some issues I have with the OSDev Wiki. It has a lot of issues, so I'll go through some of them. First of all, I'll go click random page that you'd expect to find a lot of information. This is actually an okay article. Also, it's not updated that often, so that's a problem also. But if I press random page, you'll see stuff like this. This is not an article. It literally says the LGDT instruction is used to load the global descriptor table. It takes a pointer to the GDT descriptor structure, not the table itself. So you might say, oh, that's good enough, but it should actually have like information about the opcode. A lot of our websites do that. Even like the listings of instructions will give you the opcodes and operands. It doesn't actually tell you what the operands are for the instructions that they list. For example, this is the example they give. They don't tell you what it does, they just give you an example. You're supposed to figure it out. And why is this even its own page if it's so small? It might as well be in the global descriptor table. So if I now click another one, you actually get this, which is actually acceptable, but if I press it again, you'll see like lean, which is this page or section of stub. This is a stub as compared to those previous ones, which were around the same size. So they don't have the most, let's just say, consistent classifications of stubs. This is probably because it's in the file system's info box or section. They also use info boxes way too little. A lot of people have issues with too many info boxes, but with OSDev Wiki, there's barely any info boxes anywhere. So this article will just tell you some features like it's an advertisement probably, and gives you a specification, and it's from FreeDOS in an overview. And it doesn't tell you anything about the structure of it, even though they have the specification right here. I guess no one's going to put down information. It's a wiki, not a resource page. So if I press another random page, you get port.io, which is already a thing, but it's just called different on another page. For example, like if I click here, this is an actually acceptable page. But then there's around 100 different pages that do the exact same thing. So they got an x86 category. Problem is there's a lot of stuff in here that could actually be classified as x86, but isn't, like that LGDT instruction we talked about earlier, or the GDT, which is not actually in any other architecture except for x86. It might be implemented different in a different one, but it's called the GDT, and the article's for x86, but it's not classified in the x86 category. Also, no spaces in between commas. That's not good. They don't have any style. So if I now click another, but first look at that, the 8042 in quotes. Why would you put quotes around it? Is it not the 8042? And there's just a lot of quotes in here. If it's set, then you know it can't be a dual channel PS2 controller. Dual channel. They literally quote dual channel. All PS2 devices should support the reset. Just call it. You don't need quotes. Oh my god. This status register has a second PS2 port output buffer full flag. Wow. All those have to be quoted because I don't know. They just wanted to. So, common devices. These are the common devices. All this stuff is in the hardware section, which I'd like to mention, firmware is not hardware. Firmware is software, not hardware. Why is it in there? And BIOS is not, if you call the BIOS hardware, it depends what you mean. The BIOS software is what you mostly interface with. The BIOS hardware is just a ROM chip that the CPU boots off of. It's just not. It's not hardware when you think about it, or else you can call every single thing on the computer hardware. Like I could say, for example, uh, have to think for a second. What could I call hardware? Like the mouse cursor hardware because it's stored in RAM, or etc. etc. When it's not, it's just in memory. So, and also they put in the firmware category, which is part of hardware, UEFI, which is definitely software, and also GPD, GPT. I hate acronyms. Is definitely not firmware or hardware. Firmware. This is just a partitioning method, GUID partition table. They don't put MBR in here, so I don't know why they have GPT. I really hate acronyms today. So storage. So they got all this stuff. They don't have much right now. They don't have like NVMe or anything else. Probably the floppy disk controller page is actually one of the best. Look at that. That's pretty big. Problem is they couldn't just... they don't have any LaTeX support. Also the code. They have no agreed upon code style. Some people write it like a Microsoft Word with the brackets underneath the function declaration, and then use uint16t instead of like short. Well, some people don't. And some people have spaces before the comments. Like this is pretty consistent, but a lot of the times it's not consistent. You can tell that one person did. And also, why do people do this? Why do they put spaces in here, but no spaces in quotes? Except when they do. Does that even make sense? No. That's called coding style. I know OSDev Wiki is kind of lacking of it. Okay, so... And also half their reference articles are always dead because no one's archived them. And also, if I go into, let's say, video, there's our 3D rendering basics, and then they say printing to the screen without a DB. What is that supposed to mean? Oh, double bytes, right? Yep. So why is this in the video category when this has to do with just a simple topic of how to print? It's not even a tutorial. It should have the tutorial listing right in here of the difficulty of the tutorial. And yeah, it's a tutorial, but lacks that little thing they have on almost all the big tutorials, which tell you what type of tutorial it is, like easy, hard, or medium. Or I just started an OSDev, I can't MOV AX BX. So let's just say this is kind of weird. Why would they want to use macros for this? I guess you could do it like that, but they also have it like this, and they don't, like, I don't know, maybe it's just a way they want to, like, format it where they don't have all the comments lined up. But let's see. Trying to nitpick on this thing. Okay, so they have returned. I'm pretty sure this came from, this probably came from the macOS source code. I'm not joking. It probably did, at one point. So, yeah, if I click the, random page again, we get the writing a frame page locator. Okay, first of all, you put a space after here. And they put it right here. They put extra spaces, but they didn't put it right here. Also, heard of tabs? They don't have tabs. This is a mess. Okay, so no standards. We got things like this, and this is writing a flame page allocator, and this also says a work in progress. It may be incomplete. Let's see the history. Oh, last edited 2014. Created in 2009. Yeah, work in progress for over 9 years. Okay, so press it again. Let's see what else. Oh, brand's known bugs for the brand kernel development. A tutorial. So this is something like, why would we need this? It has to do with brand's kernel development tutorial instead of that. You shouldn't be, if you can't figure out what went wrong, you probably shouldn't be using a tutorial. Well, maybe it has to do with like people think, why? This is a tutorial. It should be always right. I think he fixed this actually, and every time I looked at it, it looked fine. The link description for branch tutorial does not add the RO data. Yeah, never had a problem with RO data before. So let's just see. Let's see, random page again. GCC, good page, acceptable. Bin utils, oh my god, stub and work in progress. So here's all the bin utils utilities: AS, LD, AR, and objdump. I'm pretty sure that's not it. Also, they haven't migrated to HTTPS on all their see also links. Also, this should be under references, not see also. See also is for internal pages, not external. So in progress, yeah, that's a lot. I'm pretty sure that's not even close to all of them. So they also have Solasm, which is actually not much of a stub when you think about it. But yeah, there's a lot of issues on the OSDev Wiki that should be addressed. That's about it.